Ooh, we are live. Hey guys, Chris Rotunda here at Josephs Bay Charities. I am hanging out with my friend Caitlin from St. Joseph's Bay Humane Society. Caitlin, what's up?
Not much. How are you doing?
Good. Last time I was up in that area, I wish I could have, I didn't know you guys yet. I wish I could have stopped in, but next time I will stop in. But in the meantime, I want to get to know you, get to know your Humane Society and talk about like everything that's going on there and some, any new news, old news, or what's coming up, events, something. Let's talk about everything, girl. So tell me about St. Joseph's Humane Society.
Absolutely. So our shelter was founded in 1996. Before that, it was just a really small animal control. Not a whole lot of life saving going on. There's some great people who founded our Humane Society back in 1996, and it's just been improving since then. So as of this year, we're officially a no-kill shelter with a 98.7% save rate.
Wow.
And we're so proud that no healthy animal is ever euthanized at our shelter. We have an awesome team that works really hard day in and day out to network with different rescues, other shelters, and really just promoting our pets and not just finding them a home and getting them out, but finding the perfect home. So I'm hoping that today we can talk about some of the animals that we've had for close to a year or over a year, because we haven't found their perfect home yet. And hopefully you're out there, family, and we can find you today.
Absolutely. I see two gorgeous animals in like our little corners over here, or that way. Let's talk about the one on the top next to me.
Okay, so Hannah.
God, it's beautiful.
Yeah, so we got her about a year ago, and she came to us, and she's one of the very, very few dogs that's microchipped. I would say 1 in a million dogs that we get is fixed and microchipped. Most are hunting dogs that were not very good at their job, or dogs that just no one wants at all, and they release them into the wild. In our area, very few dogs are claimed by their owners. So we were thrilled that she had a microchip because we're like, yes. Finally, someone's coming to get their dog. And she was so sweet. She loved everybody, but she was very anxious and like just on edge all the time. And so we contacted the number on her microchip. No one answered. So we're like, okay, keep you for tonight. Hopefully they'll come get you tomorrow.
Yeah.
And so we finally got a hold of them. And they were like, oh, we gave her away a couple months ago. And at the time, she was less than a year old. So they had not had her very long. She was adopted from another shelter in Houston. And they had given her away to a different family. And so we got their contact information, and we called that family, and they're like, thank God. And we're so happy because they're going to come get her. And no, they meant thank God that she was gone and they didn't have to deal with her anymore. So we were devastated. So no one came to get her. And in our county and in our state, it's not illegal to abandon your pet if they end up with someone else. So we have her still. She's very sweet. She definitely missed her family. She ran away just about every day for months.
Oh my God.
She would scale 12-foot fence with a razor wire around the top. We'd walk her with 4 harnesses to stay on. And she'd rip off in like 2 seconds, all of them. She can unlock doors with her feet and with her mouth, and she would escape out of 4 locked doors, harnesses, all at the same time in like 2 seconds. So her name was Houdina for quite some time.
Oh my God.
But she was not getting adopted. No one wanted her at all. She never had one even person ask about her or comment on her Facebook post or anything.
Oh, Caitlin, what happened? We lost Caitlin. Hey, Mindy, I did see that you were mentioning. Go ahead, Caitlin. Sorry about that, Caitlin.
She knows all the basic commands. She loves people. She loves to ride in the car more than anything. And once she knows that she's safe, she is the most loyal dog ever. So we would love for someone to adopt her. She does need to be an only dog because she likes to rule the roost a little bit, but she has so much love to give.
I want to give a shout out right now real quick. Mindy Pete says, Caitlin Godwin is the very best. Thank you for helping the shelter tonight. This is one of the reasons why I think it's so important that we do this. Your community, I know they probably see you on camera once in a while, or they see the post from you, but to get to know you and understand, your backstory and you at the shelter and your shelter, I think that it becomes more personal when you start doing posts for things, whether it's events, whether it's dogs. That dog is absolutely gorgeous, and I'm really trying to understand how it's not been adopted yet. But we got to get the attention out there, guys. So if you're watching, the biggest thing you can do right now is to share. Hey, Ann, how you doing? She says, I love our shelter and staff.
She's on our board.
Oh, very nice. Thank you so much for joining.
She taught me in school too.
She what?
Yeah, our town is very close. We live in a really small community, so we love Miss Mindy. She does a lot for our shelter. She's always donating, seeing what we need, supporting us, attempting to adopt from us again. We're hoping to find a good fit here soon. And then Miss Ann, she's on our board. She taught at our school for quite some time, and we're going to talk about Archie hopefully later today. And she's the one that delivers Archie's breakfast every morning. So she's very special to us too.
Wait, how does she deliver his breakfast?
She makes homemade food for her dogs, and she loves Catahoulas. And Archie was the dog that had the jug stuck on his head for almost a month. So he just needs a little bit extra attention. So Miss Ann brings him a big bowl of homemade food every morning at 7 a.m.
And if I come visit St. Joseph's Bay, can you bring me some food when I come? That's amazing.
It smells really good. I would eat it.
You know, I went to a shelter one time by you guys, Helping Hounds. I think it's up. There's you guys, Helping Hounds project. And she left me when I left. She was making me beef stew. I was like, wow. I was just kidding about that stuff, guys. But it was delicious. But
yeah, we're gonna have to step it up when you come to visit.
I think she felt bad too, because I always try to get them to challenge me when I come to shelters, and she wanted me to race her horse, and I'm telling you, I just lost. I'm pretty fast. I just lost. And the video's out there too, guys. If you want to see it, I didn't lose by much. I didn't lose by much. And then I lost in the shelter before that at maybe Safe Animal Shelter, where I lost a pie eating contest. But I'm on a losing streak right now. But so that is the first dog. Who is the dog under me?
So that is Charlie.
Okay.
He has a really sad story too, and he needs a really specific home that we have not been able to find. I never like to call a dog a challenging dog, but if there was one, it is Charlie. He was actually in a South Florida shelter for a while. He was found running through traffic. And so he was a puppy at the time. He was about 7 months old. And he's 3 now. And so he was running through traffic. The lady pulled over. He loaded up in the car just like that. It was so sweet. But when the animal control officer came to take him to the shelter, the animal control officer was a male. He was terrified. He was lunging at him.
Oh, wow.
And he's still not good with men to this day, unless he really has spent a lot of time with them. So I'm guessing he was abused as a puppy. We don't really have any proof other than what his reactions are. But he's very stressed at the shelter. We are almost all female staff, so almost all of us can interact with him. And he's so sweet. He loves to cuddle. He gives the best hugs in the world. But he's super high energy. He is a working breed. He's a pointer mix, so he wants to go nonstop. And our dogs do get almost 3 hours of outside time every day, which is a lot, because we're really low on dogs right now, which is nice.
That's nice.
But so after a while in that shelter, over a year, he was transferred to Charleston. And then Hurricane Dorian was about to hit, and their shelter was expected to flood.
Wow.
And so we took 40 animals from their shelter. We loaded up our van. We rented 2 other vans, and we got 18 dogs and whatever the remainder is in cats. We were up to our eyeballs in cats for a while. But so Charlie was one of the ones we got, and he seemed fine on day 1. He didn't have any problems, but there was no men helping us unload all the dogs. So we found out on day 2 how bad his fear and reactivity was. So yeah, he needs a home with no other dogs, no cats, no children, and only women. So it's going to be a little bit difficult to find that home.
I was at a rescue in South Florida, dog rescue, and they had the same issue. They had a bunch of women there, and first thing I did when I walked in there, they had said that I had to dress up as a woman. I did it. They put me in a wig and everything.
Oh my gosh.
I had to do it. I'm like, I never say no, so I'm always like, all right, guys, what's the challenge when I come to your place? And they were like, our dogs don't like men. And I'm like, that kind of is hard for me. I've been a man for 32 years. I'm like, I don't know what to do about that. So they put me in a whole.
We have our maintenance guy. He helps a lot, because if we don't have any males on the staff, we don't know if they're fearful or not. But Travis, he's our maintenance guy. He's so sweet. So Charlie has accepted him. He can pet him just a little bit every once in a while, and he does okay. So that's nice that he's getting some exposure, and we work with him.
Here's a little hint on the men thing, though. I had one dog at Humane Society at Pasco County, that same thing. They don't like men. So what I used to do is I used to go at night, and I used to bring my George Foreman grill. and I used to cook. I used to cook outside of her kennel burgers, and we used to just eat burgers for like weeks, and then we became like best friends. So I'm like one of the only males only males that dog can deal with, and it's because I seduce her with burgers. But it worked.
You definitely got to build that special connection and that trust.
Absolutely. So these dogs, Charlie has been there for, it sounds like 2.5 years or 2 years.
He has been in a shelter for almost 3 years, but he's only been with us. We got him in October, so this October will be a year. Are
you guys open to somebody fostering him?
He is available for foster. He went into foster care for a couple of days with one of our volunteers, and she had a really horrible allergic reaction to not him, but just like the elements, and so he had to come back while she got healthier. But we do have a pretty extensive foster program, and we do a really good job of equipping our fosters, but we don't have a ton of people in our area open that we know of. If you're out there, hello, to foster a dog that has these behavioral considerations. So we've expanded our foster program to be, you just have to live within a 2-hour range. So we can keep an eye on them. You can still reasonably get to our vet if they need anything.
Right. For the people that are watching right now, there's like 32 people are watching, and there are going to be much more people watching once this thing gets shared on social media. Can you tell people who are watching, well, first off, let me tell the people that are watching, if you're watching, help St. Joseph's Bay Humane Society grow their voice by liking them on Facebook and follow them on Instagram, guys. That's super important, especially when they need things, whether it's, emergency medical cares or just getting dogs out. We will talk about the transport aspect of it, because I think it's amazing that you guys transport so far away and you bring dogs in from far away. I think that's incredible. But for people that are watching, if they want to become a foster, what is the process?
So right now, because of the coronavirus, we're a virtual shelter. So you can go on our website, which is going to be probably linked in this post, but SJBHumanesociety.org is linked all over our Facebook. Anywhere you click, you're going to get them on the website. And there's a tab that says Get Involved. And underneath that, there's 2 tabs, Foster Candidates and Fostering. So the Foster Candidates is a list of every animal that's eligible for foster. Not all of them are eligible for foster. Some of them are available to rescue only, or some of them just haven't been spayed or neutered or vaccinated yet, so they'll be added soon. And we actually need to update that this week. Things have been a little bit hectic lately. So you can always call and see, if there's not one that fits for you. But we try to put their photo, their age, how they are with other pets, how they are with kids, anything about them. We like for all of our heartworm dogs that are going through treatment to go into foster. Nursing mothers, if we can't get them into rescue, those are great ones for foster. And then ones who, like Charlie and Hannah, have been with us for a while and just need someone to really show them off and show that they're a family pet that is great at being an inside dog. So there's an application linked right there. So you'll click on that, you'll fill it out, it sends it to me, I go through it, I give you a call, and then we set up a time for you to pick them up.
Awesome. Amanda Lucas says, Caitlin rocks our adoptions. Way to go.
That's our director.
Oh, she likes you. Just kidding.
We got along okay.
But yes, for fostering, I'm glad that you went over that, because that's super important. I feel like when COVID happened, that whole fostering just kind of emerged. Like it was like
our foster program really blew up. We usually had like 2 or 3 animals in foster at any given time. We have some cats that have been in foster for 3 years.
Wow.
And they used to be kind of feral, but now they love people. So they've been in foster for a while, and their foster's like, I'll keep them forever if we need to. But Coco, Caspian, and Tori, we're going to get you a home one day. But our dogs usually only stay in foster about a month if they're healthy, and they get adopted so much faster. Like a dog that would sit in a shelter for a year will get adopted within a month, because people can see, they're on the couch, they're in the bed, they're playing with the kids. They're not, a caged animal like how they look at the shelter sometimes. And we do a good job to show off their personalities, but we're not at home. It's not the same. So they go so fast. So we have some fosters that just like back-to-back foster them and just get them into homes. And we love those people. Yeah.
Yep.
And fostering too is absolutely free. We provide everything. So we try to make it no financial barrier. So if you can't afford a pet, but you've always wanted one, fostering is a great way to help. We will give you all the supplies, food. We cover all the medical care.
Yeah, that's the one thing when COVID happened, people were just like, I just can't believe how amazing it was when people just stepped up to be fosters. I'm like, we have to keep that trend going even after COVID is gone, like, because it's such an amazing concept. And because a lot of the places, like you just said, take care of the medical, the food, and all that stuff, which is great. That's what people probably worry about the most, is not just the time being with the dog, but the financial burden of it, which
Exactly.
you guys take care of it. Now you have to kind of talk to me about something though, Caitlin, deep dark secret that Mindy's telling me about. What's this drawing?
Oh, okay. So about, I guess it's been 2 months ago, I saw where Halo Shelter was doing pet drawings. And I think it was like $20 you could get a pet drawing. And it might be a really good artist to make it, or it might be a really terrible artist. You didn't know what you were going to get. And I've always liked art. I've never been great at art because I just don't have a ton of time to sink into it. I'm super busy. Right. And so I reached out to our high school art teacher and I was like, oh, would the art students want to do like a fundraiser with us? And Miss Hodges, she taught me in school. She was like, well, if I remember correctly, you're a pretty good artist. And I was like, I guess. So I kind of needed that push. So I started doing pet portraits. For $20, you could get a pet portrait. The first ones were not great. Thank you, everyone who purchased one. But I've actually started a little side business. And now, since I've been so overwhelmed with all of the photos being sent in, I decided to make it a whole business, and I'm hoping to offer prints. So it's no longer the St. Josephs Bay Humane Society, but 10% will always go to the shelter. But yeah, for a while we were doing that for a fundraiser.
That's awesome. That is so cool. I know, and I don't know what kind of drawings are these? Like, I know
they're digital prints, so they vary. Some of them will be super cartoon. Some of them might be more realistic.
Really cool. That's awesome. I mean, what a cool talent. Yeah. I can't draw nothing, not a thing. But yeah, guys, again, in the beginning of this video, we were talking about these two beautiful dogs that have been at St. Joseph's Bay Humane Society for quite a long time. The one has been in, I think you said, Charlie, in shelter life for 3 years, which is just a long time. I mean, think about that for a minute. I spent 3 nights with the help of the dodo at a shelter, and I tell you, those 3 nights were terrible. Those were not fun. So I can't imagine what 3 years is like, guys. So to help out Charlie, guys, please share this video as much as possible. If you're watching this after the live thing, you can still share to groups, share to, if you want to copy the link, you can tweet it out. As a guy, I just can't say that. Tweet me. Just tweet me. I can't. It doesn't sound masculine. I don't like it. But guys, if you're a Twitter person, tweet it out. If you want to take a screenshot, me and Caitlin will do something real quick. Caitlin, really quickly, 1, 2, 3, smile. Okay. If you guys take a screenshot of that, you can put it on Instagram. She's got much whiter teeth than I do, but don't try to. If you need to do some,
you wore a white shirt, you got to cheat with the orange.
Yeah, there you go. So if you want to just digitally put white on my teeth, go for it. But again, so we talked about fostering. We talked about volunteering. Now, how did they become a volunteer with you guys?
So volunteering is a little bit weird right now because of the COVID-19. We cannot have any in-person volunteers, but traditionally we do every other Saturday our volunteer orientation. So usually every week we're sending out invites to that, getting people to sign up, and it's a pretty brief training. It's kind of a get to know you, how to interact with animals, getting to know our shelter, and then volunteers can come anytime that we're open to hang out with us, help out the animals. The biggest thing is walking the dogs, getting them to expose to different kinds of people, and getting to know their.
Oh, Caitlin jumped off again. What are we doing, Caitlin, with that service over there? Here she goes back. She's coming.
Be a link below.
There you go.
But anyways, but right now, how volunteers can support the shelter is by really helping us stretch our efforts even further. So although donations aren't really volunteer, we do have a community food bank for all the people that are struggling right now in our community. A lot of people have lost their jobs or just they were struggling anyways, and the coronavirus just made it a little bit harder to access the resources they usually have. And so if you would like to donate to our community food bank, it's not used for the shelter pets. We have only use one brand for all of them, so their tummies stay diarrhea free. But so if people want to donate to that, if they're usually volunteering, or if they want to help us show off our pets. So you can still foster. You can foster a dog for a day if you want, take them on an outing, take good pictures of them, share our stuff to your social media. and help us that way. And we're hoping to have a date soon for volunteers, but that's still pending right now.
One of the things I want you to talk about too, in the process of just networking, we talked off the camera about transport. I mean, you guys, I think what people don't know about, there's that small community of animal welfare people. And then I always say there's the country that doesn't know anything. And I was guilty before I started Jordan's Way. I was guilty. I knew nothing. And so just educate people a little bit when it comes to St. Joseph's Bay Humane Society of, how far you guys go and like just the whole transport business, what it entails.
Yes, so we're very fortunate at our shelter to have really good connections with rescues and other shelters. So part of being a no-kill shelter, it's hard to accomplish that in such a small community. I swear every person I know in our town has already got a dog from us, and they cannot get another one. And so
we're gonna donate to this girl's Wi-Fi. What's going on out there? Here she comes.
Our town, and so we are able to transport dogs pretty much anywhere as long as we can make it work. We've coordinated with people in Washington State. We've coordinated with people in Maine, in Connecticut, and Michigan. And then close to home too, we work with some places within Florida and in the Southeast area. We will partner with any shelter or rescue that will have us, basically, as long as you align with the same ethics that we have. We are picky about making sure that our animals have proper health care, and that we're sending them to a place where they'll have a better chance of adoption. Our goal is not to just move animals from one shelter to another, because that's what happened to Charlie. He's been moved to 3 separate shelters, and none of those shelters have gotten him a home. We're still working on it, and we hope we're the one to find him a home, and we don't want to pass him off to another rescue unless they're the place that can find him a home, because every move and every day in a shelter is hard on them. And every day that goes by, their chances decrease. The animals that come in that are super adoptable, the little dogs, the puppies, the ones that have big curly hair, they're gone in a couple days. And then Hannah and Charlie sit with us for a year. And so it's heartbreaking. And so we partner with places that are going to get these animals a home. But yeah, we'll partner with people in the Netherlands if they'll get them a home. We'll work with anybody. And we have some great volunteer drivers. We have pilots that will take our dogs places. So we'll do pretty much anything to make it work.
It's just crazy to me, because I was always under the assumption that you guys basically have a farm area around you that you guys rescue and pick up dogs from. And I'm learning that you guys are like, when it comes to going out there and getting dogs that are in trouble or something, you guys are like the prettier version of Dog the Bounty Hunter, I would say. It's just like, but you guys are like almost fearless, because when a dog comes into your shelter, I mean, you don't know what it's going to act like when it's around you, but you guys all give it all the love and all the TLC it needs. And, like, it's just like, I don't know, like, you don't know what to expect, but you guys go nuts, just, have no fear. And I think that's one of those things that's so incredibly, attractive about this niche in general. I think you guys have a passion that I don't think I've ever seen in another niche that I've been a part of. Like, there's such a passion behind it. And I think for people that are watching, everyone's been saying very nice things about you, Caitlin, and St. Joseph's Bay Humane Society. Guys, help them out even more. Make sure you always like them on Facebook, follow them on Instagram. I will say that nausea, because but it's so important, because the more that Caitlin puts her voice out there and posts, the more likes they have, the more followers they have, the louder their voice is. And I know there's some guys on this feed that'll be like, no, man, girls only have one voice. It's loud. But I'm telling you, you can make it louder. Just kidding. Caitlin, did you like that one? That was a good one. Did you like that one? She's like, I didn't. But, I'm gonna put another dog on the feed real quick.
Okay.
This dog really quickly. Can you tell me about this dog?
Can't get rid of Charlie, I'm telling you. And so there's Archie. He was known as Jug Dog for a long time, but he needed a real name when we finally were able to get him home to the shelter. Can you put the picture of the jug on there? Did you get that one from me? Yes.
Is that the picture that I didn't know what it was at first? And I was like, what is that?
It's a really grimy plastic thing.
Okay, I got it. I hope I'm putting the right thing up. I'm like, well, I hope this is the right thing I'm putting up, but it is. Yeah, it is pretty serious. Is this the jug? Hold on one second.
Yeah. So Archie was running around our town for 3 weeks that we know of. It may have been longer, so we just say almost a month, with this jug on his head.
Is that a jug?
It's actually an automatic pet feeder. I was Googling the words. It was like hieroglyphics deciphering to figure out what it was, but it's actually like one of those automatic water or food things. So we're guessing that it's his bowl, and whoever used to be his owner left him, and he was either eating or trying to drink out of there and got stuck. But he had that on his head for at least 3 weeks, and he was spotted just about every day. But he's so feral at this point that it was almost impossible to catch him. I mean, our whole team, our sheriff's department, our animal control, our police officers, our whole community was out nonstop with nets and ropes trying to catch him. And even though he couldn't eat or drink, this guy had so much energy. Like, he would be almost dead laying there. And then the second you go to catch him, he'd dart off 100 miles an hour. And so more frustrating for him, but it was very frustrating that we couldn't catch him. And we just knew every day would be the day that he wouldn't make it. But one day he was finally caught. He was up underneath the house, and 3 of our team members dragged him out from underneath, and the jug actually came off at that point. And so he went to the vet, and he actually was in pretty good shape. Surprisingly, I don't know how. He's always had like the most beautiful coat ever. Yeah. But he's had a lot of food, a lot of Pedialyte, a lot of homemade chicken and rice. And he's doing a lot better now. He's very fearful. So we're trying to get him used to people, but we've just now got to the point where we can pet him just a tiny bit. So yeah, he's doing great. He does have a heart murmur that he'll have to be treated for eventually, but other than that, he's doing good.
Can anybody, I know every shelter is different. Can people contribute to his medical care right now?
We've raised almost $4,000 for his medical care through all of our community. You guys love to give us money on Facebook, which is so nice. We try to make it easy for our donors to support us and support all of the animals. So within like 2 days, he had raised a ton of money. So we were able to cover all his medical care. He's going to need some more care in the future. We're not exactly sure what all that will entail, but we're so appreciative to our community for helping out with us.
Let me ask you a question. What's the process going to be like? Like, how long is going to be for he can be adopted?
We're not exactly sure. We definitely don't want to move him just yet because he's just now gotten acclimated to us. He hates inside. He's probably never been inside a building before until us. But he's very difficult to put a leash on and to maneuver. He will react to us if we come to him too close. He's very sweet. He's just super fearful, as anyone would be when they've been through that kind of trauma. And so we're in the process of trying to get him a more comfortable living environment than just being in a kennel. Right. And he'll likely be with us for a while. Ideally, we would like for him to go to a behavioral rescue, but he's not at the point yet where he can be moved. So we'll have some updates as soon as we do on that.
I think some people are responding to what you had said. Mindy had said, we are still recovering from Michael, the Cat 5 hurricane. But our town is so compassionate and helping animals and people. That's awesome. Amanda Lucas, which is, I think you said, is a director. Mm-hmm. So we have to be super nice to her. Just kidding. Just joking. Hi, Amanda. Thank you for letting me come on the feed and talk to Caitlin. She's doing a phenomenal job. But she says we love our community support. That is awesome. I actually come from a small town, so up in New Jersey. But wow. I know the feel of a small town mentality. That small town, like people rallying around it. It's a good thing. But I understand what you're saying also, that like, you know, probably everybody in your town has a dog from you guys. So you're trying to like, you know, shut outside of that little community.
That's my favorite hobby, is when I'm out walking my dog or just riding around town. I'm like, there's so-and-so, and everyone that's gotten adopted. So it's nice because I stalk all of you to make sure that they're cared for. They know. So yeah, there's Tamara. She has Sky. She's so sweet.
Yeah. When I go back home to Jersey, I can still go to a shop or a supermarket. We have ShopRites up there, but I can still go up there and know the cashiers. Like, you know what I mean? Like after 12 years of not being there, you can still go home and you still know all the coaches. You still know the people that work in the city, and it's just like it's amazing. Like that small town.
You can't get away from it. You got to be all the time.
Yeah. If you don't know the small town feel, it'll shock you when you're around people that are from an area for, you know, such a long time, and they all know each other. The cops know who you are. You know, it's like, but yeah. Heather Jordan wrote, she wrote, Amanda, I sent you a message when you have time. I think she means Amanda Lucas, but Tamara, thank you for joining.
Yes.
Tamara says Caitlin is amazing. So Tamara Siegel, thank you for joining.
Yeah, she has 2 of our dogs.
Oh, and
and they're doing really well. One just got through heartworm treatment, so that's really exciting.
Yep. One of the things I've been stressing since the beginning of this video for Heather, Tamara, Amanda, Pam, everybody that's on this feed, there's many other people. If you're watching this, guys, it takes no effort to share. Help St. Joseph's Bay Humane Society grow their voice, grow their channel, Facebook, Instagram, guys. Share. It also is going to help these dogs that we've been putting up there, better chance of being adopted. So Maria Steele says, so many of us volunteers are so proud of what they are doing at St. Joe's, and Caitlin is their shining star. Joanne says, great job.
Maria is so sweet. There is not a single lost dog post on Facebook that she has not sent to me to make sure that we're sharing it. So she is like the radar for the lost dogs to make sure they all get home.
That's awesome. That's one of the things that's so important about these live feeds. I get to really get to know your community as well, and see how, when they respond to who I'm talking to, it's a testament to what you're doing. So Caitlin, you're doing an awesome job. I mean, really, these people are saying nice things. I might just put something on there that like Caitlin's Wi-Fi is terrible, just to put a bad review of you on here.
1 star. I know. I was hoping that we would have been able to do this during the day, so the whole team would have been on. But we have everyone that works at our shelter. There's only 8 of us. So every person has to wear a lot of hats. But everyone that works at our shelter gives so much and really loves the animals. And so it's just such an honor to work with all of them. It's hard to get such a great team because it's a hard job. It's very taxing. And not everyone can do it. You see a lot of things that are hard to digest and hard to turn off when you go home at night. And there's no 8 to 5 with animal rescue. It's nonstop. And so just everyone that works at our shelter, has worked at our shelter, might work with us in future, or any shelter in any community. Thank you for everyone that works in rescue, because it is hard, but we're these animals' voice and they don't have anyone else to speak up for them.
Nope. You're right, though. And I always stress that too. It is not a 9 to 5. And I'm sure if we go on live feed once a week and I'll say, Caitlin, what happened in the last 7 days? You'll give me stuff and people will be like, oh, that happened in 7 days. Like, you know what I mean? Like that was only 7 days. Like, people don't realize how much effort and work goes into what you guys do on a daily basis. And that's one of the things I want to educate communities all over Florida and the country. Like there is a ton of work. And one of the things I'm always upset about is that you guys don't have more like funding or more of a following or more of because this job is not easy. And the last thing you guys should be worried about is marketing or funding. It's like, you guys have enough, some of these animals, that come into your place. I cannot imagine some of the cases you guys deal with, and you have no clue what's coming to you tomorrow. You know what I mean? Like you have no idea. And people, they don't know, like the communities ooh, where'd you go again? I was on a roll, Caitlin. Here she comes.
Setting this up was that you had never really worked in rescue. And so you were like, I kind of feel bad that I get all this publicity when really it should be on you. But I think a lot of people think, oh, the shelter people are doing that. The rescue people are doing that. I don't know how to do that. So I'll just not have a voice. But we are so already stretched thin. I mean, We'll be holding a kitten, nursing a puppy, trying to teach this one how to sit so they'll finally get adopted, taking a photo, and then writing a grant with this hand. And so any skill that anyone has in our community, it probably doesn't connect to rescue, but we'll make it connect. So if you want to help, reach out to us, send us a message, send us an email, send us a carrier pigeon. We can use pretty much any help we can get. There's a lot of people in our community that just have like a cat from us that they're like, well, I can have a shop cat, even though I don't want a cat at my house, or I'll put out a donation jar, or I can make homemade bags. We have an awesome group of ladies that makes homemade bags out of dog food bags that are used and sells them. So anything that you can come up with, like, we'll make it work. Yep.
That's one of the things. Yeah. You guys are so creative. I mean, when I come visit you guys, I'm going to ask you guys to challenge me to something just for fun. And I'm sure you guys are going to cover something pretty weird. I can just see it.
You're going to regret that.
The only thing I've actually won is there was a dog at Dog Totally Dog Rescue in South Florida. It's like this gigantic dog. And they were like, we're going to have you do a tug of war against this dog. It's the only competition I actually won. God. I beat him. you forget us Jersey boys are strong. Just kidding. But tell me,
horses, playing duck dogs.
yeah, that was serious. But tell me, for the community that's watching, what are some of the barriers St. Joseph's Bay Humane Society is facing right now that they can help with?
The two biggest things I think in our community are very common across the South. So one is a shelter is a Band-Aid on the problem. We take in the animals that are homeless, we rehabilitate them, and we get them a home. But it is a revolving door. The only thing that will fix the epidemic of homeless pets in the South is spay and neuter. So if you have a pet that has not gotten the snip snap yet, we have a public spay and neuter program the third Wednesday of every month, and it's very affordable. We have all those prices. Call us and we will help you out. That is the number one thing that people can do, is get their animal fixed. Unless you're a licensed breeder, there is no reason why your animal should not be fixed. It's not only preventing unwanted pets, kittens and puppies from being born, but it's also helping the health of your pet. It helps with behavioral problems. It helps with dog-to-dog aggression. It helps with dogs running away, especially male dogs, and it prevents cancer. And so that is the number one thing people can do, is get their animals fixed. And then also, not everyone has social media and not everyone is informed, especially in rural communities. And so if you see that your neighbor has had 8 litters of puppies since you've lived next to them, maybe reach out and see if they need some help, because not everyone has the resources to get their animals fixed. So we try to make it easy as possible. But we have about $1 a year to take care of all these pets. And so sometimes people will choose to donate to get someone else's animal fixed. And that really, really helps more than you'll ever know, because every animal that comes to us is at least $100 to get fixed and get vaccinated. That's if they're healthy. And so, yes, Tamara, the third Wednesday of every month.
Oh, she was just in the middle of it too. She had it.
Second thing is heartworms. And so there's a lot of myths about heartworms. People think if their dog's an inside dog, they don't need to take prevention, or that they only get it from drinking water with larvae in it. The truth is, it only takes one mosquito bite that's infected to give your dog heartworms. And 85%, this is like Amanda's thing, so she'll go off in the comments, but 85% of the dogs we get have heartworms. And at minimum, it's $400 to treat it. And so that is the most taxing thing on our budget. And all of the dreams we have for having a vet on staff or having a behaviorist are crushed by heartworms. And so the next biggest thing people can do is educate themselves. It's one pill once a month, or now they have the Pro Heart shot. That's one shot once a year. And on alleyvet.com, I don't know if I'm allowed to do a promo for them, but it is for my 90-pound dog, it is $6 a month for her heartworm pill. I get the off-brand Try Heart Plus, and that's the cheapest one. And they have coupons. I will send you a coupon if you text me or email me or comment here, and you will get it for $3 a month. And that is so much cheaper. The life of the pet, treating them is cheaper than us having to pay $400. And the treatment is really hard, like Amanda's pointing out. If it's really bad, they might not even make it. We've lost some dogs during treatment because the heartworms can cause an embolism in their lungs and in their arteries. I'm not a doctor, so hopefully that's correct. But and they have to stay completely still for months. They can't play. They can't have a good time. If it's really bad, the worms will come out their nose and they'll cough them up. And it's really hard to watch. And when 80% of our dogs have that, that's a real problem. And so, number one, give your dog their pill once a month. Or number two, help out somebody who can't afford it, or just let them know, the myths that are around it. Or just write it on your Facebook real quick. Did you remember to give your dog your heartworm pill? We try to share it all the time to remind everybody.
One of the things I want you to do real quick, you got cut off a little bit, and I was making sure I got it all in. When Tamara said third Wednesday, what is third Wednesday again? That
is our public spay and neuter. And so also on our website, there's a tab that says, I can't remember exactly what it says. I think it says resources. But it's everything that we offer. So we have a program for veterans to help them adopt. We have a community food bank, and we have public spay and neuter. Those are our 3 community outreach things that we have right now that we're able to offer. And so if you need to get your pet fixed, sometimes we even have vouchers that are cheaper, but it's about 1/5 of the cost of a traditional vet. And we drive them we live in a real small area, so we do have amazing vets in our community. But the cheaper vet for people to get their animals fixed, especially if they have a lot of animals, is Bay Bay in Panama City. And so we drive them over to Panama. So if you don't have a vehicle, we will still help you out.
Yep. So I apologize. My team is in the Jordan's Way department there. We are tagging all the rescue owners that I'm partnering with. So they'll be able to put this on.
Awesome. Yes.
Put them up. They'll be able to put all these on their feed later. Like I said, we have dozens of partners here in Florida, and I think it's super important because I go on live feeds a lot at night, that we all speak on a weekly basis, because it's important for the community to know what you guys are needing right now. And do you guys have any program on in terms of for your facility to be ongoing donors monthly?
We used to have a system where people could sign up to donate. Now all of our donations either come, we can do credit card over the phone, and we can do mail-in check or cash drop off. We will take your cash. But the main way that people donate is through Facebook and through PayPal.
Right.
It's really secure. It's easy. I need to look into and see if we still have the automatic setting. I'm really not sure, so I'm glad that you asked.
Yeah, just super important, because I always tell people, like, I can't imagine if all the community, I feel like in some ways, this is my opinion, I feel like in some ways you should have to pay like $5 a month to your local shelter to have an animal. Just to have an, I don't care where you got it from. It's like, it should be like school, like how you do school and kids being zoned for certain schools.
Uh-huh.
You know, if you're zoned for that shelter, it's like you have to give $5 a month. I mean, really, I think I spend $12.99 a month on Netflix, I think.
Mm-hmm.
And you know what I mean? Like we have all these services we pay for as luxuries, but we don't realize that, like, there's places like animal shelters and rescues that, like, you know, they're suffering every week. Like, I know one of my buddies who owns a senior dog rescue, he does like $5 Tuesdays or something. I'm like, oh my God, that is so sad. Like, why can't we make sure these people are taken care of? Like, they're doing such selfless things. Like, this is what frustrates me about the industry a little bit, because it's like the financial part should be kind of well taken care of. And I just feel like you guys are doing such amazing stuff every day that, like, this is the one stress I don't like that you guys have.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it always bothers me.
It's frustrating. And we have a lot of really great donors
Yep.
that help us out, but it's always is stretched thin. We're a private shelter, so we don't get a ton of funding from the state. We love our county check that comes in every month, so thank you, commissioners, for approving that every year. But it does not go very far. So we definitely do thrive on donations and grants. Grants take a lot of time to write, and
Right.
We are animal caretakers. We are not grant professionals. So if there's anyone out there who's really good at writing grants, please reach out to us and help us with that. That would be a huge way that people can volunteer in a social distancing way right now, would be to help us figure out if you have resources, if you're great at money, help us out. Find some on your couch and bring it to us.
So I told that story about the $5 Tuesdays. I didn't realize my buddy Ralph is on here watching. He said, got to do what you got to do. Ralph owns the Roland Senior
That's
Dog.
a great idea. I think I followed them, and I've seen that before. And I'm like, it'll always say, like, for the price of a cup of coffee, you can save a dog. And I'm like, I should do that. So I'm going to steal your idea.
Ralph and his wife Gail are fantastic. They have 32 seniors when I was at their house. 32 seniors in rescue at their house right now, or at least that's until recently.
Wow.
That's the Roland Senior Dog Rescue, guys. Ralph and Gail are fantastic. I'm sorry for calling that out, Ralph. Ralph's like, hey, how you doing? Gotta do what you gotta do, Chris. Like, I'm like, oh no. I didn't say your name originally, but I saw the thing come up. I was like, oh, he's watching. But no, it really is. I really wish that, you know, people like Ralph and you guys over there at St. Joseph's Bay can have easier ways of funding, because it should be. You guys are all doing amazing things. Like, I can't tell you, from people's houses to shelters to rescue homes and foster-based rescues, they're all doing fantastic things. If you guys, and let me talk about this too. Do you guys have an Amazon wish list?
We do. We have an Amazon wish list, and we also have an Amazon Smile account. So one way to donate without having to remember to give us money all the time and have Amazon give us their money, because they frankly have enough.
Yep.
To use smile.amazon.com, choose us as your charity. And if you're having a hard time doing that, email us and we'll walk you through it, because it is kind of hard to find every once in a while, especially if you're doing it on your phone. But if you add us at your charity, everything that you purchase 5% of that is automatically given to us, and it's off the item of the price. It's not you paying that, it's Amazon paying that. So that's a really easy way to donate, is make sure you always do that. And then we do have a wish list. We update it all the time. And we also post, we need this, because some things are easier to buy locally than on Amazon, or they're really heavy and they don't have shipping from Amazon. So we do have that, and it's also linked on our website.
Nope, you still there?
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. It kind of went out for a second. Did you say it's on your website? Is that what you said?
And the Amazon Smile information is both linked on our website.
Guys, what's so important about that, and to point out, you don't have to be a member of St. Joseph's Bay Humane Society community. You can send Amazon stuff from Texas or California, and it'll get there. Trust me, the Amazon's pretty good at delivery. So if you guys are watching from another community, what are a couple things you can know offhand that they can send you now?
The biggest things that we need in the summer are always formula for kittens and puppies. We get so many motherless animals that we have to bottle feed. Right now, cat litter, which is hard to ship. So if you're one of our local people, that's something good to send. And then cleaning supplies, we're always in need for, but now with so many limits on things, when we run to the dollar store, when we're out of bleach, we can only get one thing. And so if you don't need your one thing today, help us out with that. And then also, whatever we need will be updated on there, but there's some things that we always need, like topical flea and tick treatment. But most of the time, it's better if people just send money, because a lot of the fun things that people purchase, we already have. Like right now, we have a huge stockpile of toys and fun things. We love getting all of those, but our biggest thing is medical. And so rather than spend $5 on a toy that might get used a few times, send us the $5 and we can put it towards someone's heartworm treatment.
Absolutely. There were some other photos, but I don't know if it was the same dog. I wanted to put up here just so I didn't miss any. I got the jug. I want to take the jug off real quick, but this is a photo you sent me. And what was this for?
So that is Miss Ann Comforter with Archie. That was one of the first times he got to go outside at the shelter, when he was feeling strong enough to go out there. And he was very scared. He cowered in the corner pretty much the entire time. But we're trying to make it a little bit easier for him to enjoy outside time and to work on spending time with humans, but feeling comfortable while doing that. He's definitely challenged us at the shelter. Most of the time, dogs are like, please give me attention. We love you. And this one does not want to be looked at, touched, or talked to. And so he's got to be exposed to that to learn to trust humans so we can get him a home. But he's really not enjoying the process too much. So we're trying to make it easier on him. The homemade wonderful food from Miss Ann is helping a lot. That's definitely the way to that guy's heart, is through his tummy.
I will agree with that. That's me too. I'm the same way. So if she's watching right now, I like sloppy joes. I like steak medium rare, and I happen to like beef stew. She's probably like no, and yeah, no. But yeah, I saw that picture, and I don't. There was another picture you sent me, but I think it's of the same dog, correct?
Yeah. So the picture that you have right there with him in the red bed, that was either the day or the day after we got him. So you can see how skinny he was. He was really skinny, but he was not as skinny as we expected him to be, because he had not eaten in 3 weeks. So maybe he was getting food in that jug somehow. But he got up really quick. We have fed him. He got like McDonald's chicken nuggets just about every day, because we just all felt so sorry for him. But he's almost a healthy weight now. He's 20 pounds.
I was going to put that picture up that you sent me of him. He did look very skinny in this picture.
Yeah, that was on the first or the second day. He was pretty beautiful.
Yeah, that's it's just sad when you think about it. I mean, like, how was he eating out of that jug? It's incredible.
Either wasn't, or he had to be getting water in some way, because there's no way he could, or we thought maybe humidity condensated in there and he was able to lick that and get some hydration, but I don't know.
That would have been my guess, was the humidity. But yeah,
it's really humid.
But it's amazing. What a survivor. What a cool.
He is so tough. he's really, a testament to all of us that he's overcome all this. And I hope very soon that he comes out of his shell and starts to enjoy life, because he deserves it. He's been through hell and back. So
yeah. One of the questions I want to ask, we talked a little bit off camera about it. Where you guys have come in the last year. I mean, we spoke how you guys are now a no-kill shelter.
Yeah. So it's been, a very long struggle to get our shelter to a no-kill shelter. We've always had great people on our staff and in our community. But we've had a lot of hits too. And Hurricane Michael is definitely one of those. Our whole shelter had to be evacuated. We had to develop some fast partnerships with people to save all those animals. And then being inundated with animals too. Everyone that had to evacuate or lost their homes all of a sudden could not have their pets. And no one's looking to adopt a pet because they don't have a fenced yard. They don't even have a place to live. We had people living in tents. Even still now, there's people that are still homeless. And so they can't adopt a pet, and they can't take care of the ones they already have. And so it's from both ends. Animals aren't leaving the shelter and they're not coming in. But in the last year, we've been able to become a no-kill shelter. So the only animals euthanized at our shelter are if a family has to euthanize their pet for health reasons, quality of life, or if they pose a really significant threat to the community, which is really, really rare. So yeah, we're hoping to get that number even higher. No kill is technically 90%, because it does take into account the animals that it would be cruelty to not give them humane release. So we're really proud of that. We have a great staff who helps make it happen, and community that helps us adopt and network all of these animals. We have a great new director, Amanda, who lives and breathes no-kill shelter, and a great board too that supports us. So yeah, we're really proud of everything we've been able to accomplish.
That's fantastic. Jesse and Diana Burkett.
Yeah, so Diana Burkett, she's on our board as well, and her husband is Jesse. He was one of the city police officers, really instrumental in catching Archie, and all the time, on duty and off duty, he's a huge animal advocate.
That's awesome. I mean, I would kind of love to know from Jesse himself, how did he catch him? I
can't remember if Jesse. I think Jesse showed up, but it was actually our kennel techs, Natasha and Murray, and Darter came out from underneath that house he was stuck in. But Jesse, for hours, he would get off his shift at night and then immediately go change into his regular clothes and start searching for him. And so he really helped track him down.
It's just incredible. I think that part is incredible too, the rescuing part of it. But how the dog survived,
I don't know. It's a miracle.
It is. You said it right. It's an absolute miracle the dog survived. I mean, it's incredible. I can't wait to see the pictures when the dog gets adopted, because again, that beginning and middle and the end. I mean, that's the cool part of this whole process. Mm-hmm. We don't like to see the dog in that situation, but at some point, that dog is going to watch the Super Bowl on someone's couch.
Mm-hmm. That's always I should have sent his picture, but he actually looks a lot like Archie. We have Mystery. He was a Catahoula, and he had really severe reactivity in the kennel. Anytime someone would walk by, he would lunge at the kennel, and he wasn't aggressive. He was just so frustrated because he wanted to get out. And he was one that, like Charlie, had several moves, shelter to shelter to shelter. And was just kind of traumatized from it. And he finally got adopted. Nice. He was with us for 8 months, and his family emailed me this morning, and he has been doing great. They've been working on training. He tears up all kinds of toys and loves it. He's on this really nice boat all the time. So he's doing great. So seeing them, even just scrolling through my phone, because once a month it'll be like, you have 1 million photos of this one dog. So I have to do them. But seeing their first photo is so pitiful. And then them at their house, we had another dog, Floyd, and he was always a beautiful dog, but he just got a new house. I keep up with his family on Facebook, and he has a pool and a huge yard. And I'm like, can I come live with you, Floyd?
Caitlin, you really do stalk these people in your community.
Oh yeah, you'll be stalked forever.
I like it though. That's awesome.
There's just so many animals that experience cruelty under the radar that if it's one of the ones that come from our shelter,
right.
Not only do we really do a really good job vetting everyone, but keeping up with them is a big part too, because any animal, things happen throughout people's lives. Right. They pass away, they lose their home, they lose their job. They have a baby that has a ton of special needs. And there's usually a way to make it work to keep your pet, but there's very rare circumstances where it's just not possible. In our community, it's usually someone is very elderly and has a fall and no one's willing to take the pet. And so anything we can do to deter the animal from coming to the shelter, but once they come to us, we want that to be the home they have forever. And so me stalking you is out of love to make sure that they're still doing good and making sure, if the pet needs anything, and just being, support throughout their life and being there as a friend and building those relationships. And we have a lot of people, even from way out of state. We have someone from Connecticut who's adopted from us 5 times in a row over decades. And so we try to really be not just a shelter where they got a pet from, but, a friend that they can keep up with.
Yep. That is, it is such a cool industry. It's a cool niche. This whole thing is amazing, and people commenting. I appreciate everyone that's been on this. Tamara is on fire. She says, Caitlin is a rescuer of Sky, and got her for me to foster.
Sky is very sweet. She looked a lot like my dog's sister, and I saw her on Facebook on the euthanasia list at another shelter that we've rescued from a couple times. It's an animal control with 0 funding and a great Friends Of team. So if you're not in rescue, Friends Of, it's like the volunteers of the shelter that coordinate the foster and the rescue and all of that. And so Sky, I saw her little picture and she was so pitiful. And she had heartworms and she wasn't spayed and she looked terrible and she didn't like other dogs and she was super shy. And I just saw her face and I was like, we have to save her. So we got her and we got Frank, and they came to us. And Tamara's other dog that came from us, Annie, was so sweet. And Sky was not her friend at first and would, not want her to get too close. Within a week, I'm getting pictures of them cuddling nose to nose in the bed. So she just needed a chance. But yeah, we were like, do you want to just adopt her? And it wasn't long. She's come by to do the paperwork. So
I love that in the beginning or the middle of this video, you talked about spay and neuter, because one of the things I mentioned was I like to get everyone's opinion on, like I said, I work with Best Friends in Utah, and they said something about 4,400 animals are still being euthanized daily. And I'm like, God, we gotta figure out a way to cut this down or cut it out. Like, it's not all like health issues and behavioral issues. Like, what's, what is your take? Is there anything else you can give advice to the community instead of just spay and neuter your animals? Is there anything else you could think of?
As far as like cutting down the population of animals, or
just cutting down that number?
So I think a big part of it is, instead of thinking that's someone else's problem, it's all of our problems. Going way back, dogs were wild animals that we chose to domesticate to be our best friends. And I don't know what I'd do without my dog. They're a huge part of our life. But a lot of people is a commodity. And so they'll have, and I will say, there's some really good breeders out there who do a great job. And some people are going to want to have a particular kind of pet. But if you can rescue a dog, and if you can't rescue a dog, get the one that you have spayed and neutered. Unless you're a licensed breeder, there's no reason why your animal should not be fixed. It's healthier for them. It's healthier for the community. And animal rescue is the only field, well, I won't say only, one of the few fields where we would love if our job did not exist. We are here because of a problem. We're not here because, this is something that should be going on. Unwanted animals is terrible.
Yep.
Every animal should have a home to call their own.
Yep.
And the only reason we have shelters is because there's unwanted pets, and they come from people having litters of puppies and litters of kittens over and over and over. And there's a lot of feral cats, and that's a separate issue, but there's not a lot of feral dogs. So they're not out on their own creating all these puppies. People let their dogs breed and they sell them, or they give them away for free on Facebook, and then those have more puppies.
Yep.
And then some of them end up with us and get fixed, but most of them don't, especially in other areas that aren't as small and don't have shelter staff that stalk the free puppies on Facebook and go get them. Yep. And so the biggest thing I think is not saying that's someone else's problem. If you see someone that's had litters and litters and litters, help them out. You're not making a ton of money off these puppies. Some people are trying to, but it would be way better if we had no homeless pets in America, and if we could just have where our pets came from ethical breeders, where they were healthy and well taken care of and didn't have to experience cruelty and sadness and pain and being in a shelter. But that's the reality that we live in. And so the only fix is to spay and neuter and to take care of the animals that you already have and not let them run around, get lost and get hurt. So that's my opinion.
Oh, me too. One of the things I always said, even the numbers don't add up to me, because like they say 85+ million people own a pet. And but you know, it's almost just like we outnumber them by so much. Our voices outnumber them by so much. It's like we're just not, as a community. I'm part of the community. We're just not doing enough. Like you're part of the industry. Like you work in the industry. I'm part of the community. I'm more of an advocate. I try to use my voice. So one of the things I always say is the community is so darn guilty because we are so big as a population. And like I think they said, between rescues and shelters, there's 15,000 of them in the country. And I'm like, okay, so 85 million people own a pet, probably another 10 or 15 million, probably a lot more, want a pet. They just can't have one, whether it's, you know, apartment living or whatever the issue is. I'm like, we outnumber them by like 10,000 times. It's like, it's just like the voices, like we're not loud enough as a community to tell people like, there's a problem here, like fix it. Like, you know what I mean? Like we got to fix it.
Yeah. And I think the problems are really legal too. Unfortunately, I think in our nation, unless it's illegal and there's not a consequence, things aren't going to change. It's great for us to say all the time, you should spay and neuter your pet because they won't get cancer. And like, we want to have all these shelters. Like that only resonates with the people that already care about that. Yep. It does not resonate with people who don't care. So in northern states that works. There's ramifications if your pet's not spayed and neutered, and their shelters are empty. And we get calls all the time. We're out of dogs, and people are lining up 4 hours in front of our shelter to get a dog, and they want one so bad. And so we'll send them 10 or 15, and that's great. And they get adopted before they've even gotten to the shelter. They're already adopted and waiting to get picked up. And so it works. There's communities that have had that going on in entire states for decades. And so I think our state legislature, and this is something people can do to volunteer, is call your county representatives, call your state legislature, and forge those connections and say, this is what's important to me as a taxpayer and as a voting citizen. And I demand that there's spay and neuter laws and rabies vaccination laws and requiring that to happen. And I think that's really going to be the only way to fix it. And so many people are like, that's not my problem. I'm not going to deal with that. I don't work at a shelter. But it is, because there's animals out there suffering on the street all the time. And the ones that we have are just a small percentage of the ones that are homeless. Absolutely.
I 100% agree with you. It's just one of those things that it's just, like I said, the community, if it's not interesting to them, they don't listen, they don't hear it. And I always try to be loud as I can, whether it's my PR moves or just partnering with all you guys, because again, you know, 1,000 or 2,000 people have probably I've watched this video already that we're doing, and a couple thousand more. And it's just educating. Even if we can get 5-10 people from this video to just be like, okay, I got to spay and neuter. I got to tell my friends to do that. It's important. Like it is. It starts from that old Drake song. Remember, started from the bottom. I don't know what year you graduated high school, but I was 06. That was a popular song in 06. But it was a good one. But yeah, I really, really appreciate talking to you. I can't believe we've been talking for over an hour, girl. You can go, girl.
Oh, I never shut up. Everybody knows. But yeah, that's all the questions that you had. I do have dinner waiting for me, and I'm starving. Yeah, thank you so much for doing this, for helping us to get all of this attention on our shelter and on our animals that need a home. If just one of the dogs that we featured today got adopted, then this time is well worth it. And just to get our message out there and show people, there's so many great things about, all of the shelters in America, and not just support the ones that are no kill. Actually, I would rather you support a shelter that's high kill. They are not choosing to do that. They're forced to. There's a lot. I've heard it. People will call us every day and say, we want to adopt from you because you're no kill. Our shelter's not. And we're mad at them. Well, why do you think they're high kill? Because no one will adopt from them. And so if you're looking to adopt, try a high kill shelter. Of course, I would love for you to adopt one of our dogs. But, don't write them off because they have that on them. And so that's what my final message would be is just try to help out where you can, even if you don't think it's your job to, and support us. And we will make it go a really long ways.
Awesome. Guys, you are listening to Caitlin and myself, Chris with Josephs Bay Charities. Caitlin from St. Joseph's Bay Humane Society. Guys, we talked about Amazon wishlist. Go on their website and help them with their Amazon wishlist, Amazon Smile. We talked about ways that you guys can help volunteer. fostering. I know that you guys aren't really open right now, but you can still submit an application. If there's a dog that you guys saw here, reach out to Caitlin so she can officially stalk you all over your life. Just kidding, Caitlin. But yes, thank you so much, Caitlin. Thank you, Amanda, everybody that's been on this feed, Mindy, Jill, all you guys, Tamara, for coming on here. And thank you, Caitlin. You have done a phenomenal job. I will talk to you soon because I hope we can do this again.
Yeah, thank you so much. And I hope to have you in person so we can finally give you a challenge.
Absolutely. I will be there, girl. Don't worry. We'll pick a date. Don't you worry about that. All right, guys.
Thank y'all so much.